All right, we are live. We, of course, are on time as always, 48 seconds in, because we are Americans watching footy. So, welcome to the return of Two Americans Watching Footy after a very long hiatus, because, like I said, I moved. And like I said, we are on time for Fulham playing hosts to Liverpool as our return, full minute in. For those who have joined in, no, we cannot actually show the game. No matter how hard we try, and we've tried this 800 different ways, we can't show you the game.
We can't even do a loud volume because we
can give you the crowd background noise at a very low volume. Of course, that's not the point of the show. The point of the show, as a reminder to everyone, was so that folks overseas could get an idea of what it would be like for Americans who actually give a damn about the sports to watch the beautiful game, because we were ashamed at the time of what the coverage was of Americans at the time. And we wanted to give them...
Which is actually, unfortunately, kind of accurate.
Yeah, but the thing is, Chris, I think it was...
There's still an audience here.
Yeah, we are still trying to show people what it's like for Americans that care about the sport, because there are a lot of Americans that don't care about it. And there are real fans in America, and we are them. As you can tell by our respective jerseys, I'm wearing the away for Liverpool today, and Christopher is wearing the home, of course.
The only one I got.
Yeah. Which this is a new one. This is a new one for you, right?
Yes. I just got it for you for your birthday, which was not too long ago. Sorry, that was a can that dropped.
There we go.
Best defender in the world on it.
Yeah, with the world's best defender. So we are in the year of COVID still. Hopefully our next stream will be post-vaccine and possibly post-COVID. So we're doing the same thing everyone else is doing, and doing all this crap through Zoom.
Even though we do live... 20 minutes away?
Yeah, we live 20 minutes away from each other. And honestly, we see the same 5 people every day. So it's not like, us being in the same room together as brothers would be
normal.
Yeah, it would be anything other than normal. Yeah, but the show here isn't today about COVID. It's about the game at hand.
And it looks like Fulham's got a really good position through Frank Anguissa, which I just want to, before we get into this, Frank Anguissa has had a fantastic year so far over the middle. He is the reason why Fulham have scored goals.
So Liverpool sit, I guess, momentarily in second place.
Yes.
Because Spurs won this morning. Is that correct?
They drew, actually. Yeah. So Palace had a late equalizer in the 81st minute through Jeffrey Schlupp. And Crystal Palace played really well. They got themselves organized. If it wasn't for a distance... really good shot from Harry Kane.
You called it a stunner. Fulham on the break here already.
Yeah.
Whoo, good stop.
And Alisson has had to make who, by the way, thank God he's back. Thank God.
Oh yeah. Chris has been talking about dumping Adrian now for a while.
Yeah, well, since Kelleher had his first start, I was impressed with him. And then every time he started, he's been great. He's allowed 0 open play goals in 3 matches against actually good opponents.
Yeah, and the Liverpool's record with Adrian is actually pretty good for the totality of his career.
Yeah, because the team is good, not because he's good.
The team is good. But now the team is basically the B team. We have Fabinho.
Actually, no. Believe it or not, we've got a lot of them back.
A lot of guys back, really. Okay, because
except for the center back pair, that's basically done for the year.
Yeah.
Liverpool on the break cannot get it to Salah over the middle. They have a pretty good lineup today. With Andy Robertson, Fabinho, Matip, Alexander-Arnold across the back. Jones, who's been actually staple even for a 19-year-old as the attacking midfielder off the left with Wijnaldum and Henderson, and then their front threes are standard front threes. So they're, other than their, back two, they're in good shape.
So I feel like the whole 4-3-3 is dependent, though, the way they play the 4-3-3, on there being 2 incredibly strong center backs, anchored, of course, by Virgil. And
right.
Yeah, when you don't have that, you can't push guys forward the way you normally like to push guys forward, and I think that's been reflected in Liverpool's record this year.
Especially
the Villa game was an absolute fluke, which we don't ever want to mention.
We don't. That game didn't happen.
Right, that game didn't happen, nor did it slip. So
nope.
It just never happened. Yeah. So
yeah, I'm actually really impressed with Fabinho because Matip, you know what you're going to get from him. He's actually been a good defender. But his problem is that I'm not even going to say his problem because I'm not going to jinx it. I'm not going to put it in the air.
Well, was that a shot on goal? Would you count that as a shot on goal there from?
I would because that was off of a deflection.
It technically would
actually
have
no,
gone in
it would be not
keeper.
a shot on goal because it was off of a deflection. So that would be a
No,
shot
that's off
target.
Okay, so let's see, off his shin.
Yeah, that's a deflection.
That's a deflection. So
Off
it would have gone in though, right?
Maybe the keeper would have had to make a save.
Okay.
And
right.
Areola has been pretty good. He's had some dumb mistakes, but overall for Fulham and how bad their defense is, he's been serviceable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Liverpool needs to score. They have their full attacking force back. Their midfield is healthy. Their forwards are healthy. And actually, believe it or not, do you know who is on the bench? Is Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Okay. All right.
That is a name I haven't heard in 84 years or something.
Well, he's perpetually injured.
Oh my God. I feel so bad for the guy. He's such a good player, but he can't stay healthy.
And he really doesn't have much of a spot on the team, to be frank, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. Like
he's on that B team to play the cup games.
He's on the B team, to be honest, and that's a bizarre place for a player of his talent to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Either that or a substitution,
So let's talk about some things that have happened during our hiatus. So first things first, in our lives, well, we talked about Christopher getting hitched. Christopher has moved into his own apartment and is actually living with the wife. Yeah, so the cat's the wife. Moving up in the world. I, on the other hand, have quit my job and have moved back to Connecticut. And now I make my own hours because I'm my own boss, which has been interesting. Yeah, and then and in doing this, we really wanted to get back together, and I have now a room. I have a proper office for my streaming. But I also have a room upstairs where Chris and I really want to be doing this moving forward, but COVID, and we also didn't have time to set things up there.
Well, shit happens.
Yeah, so there will be a new and proper studio moving forward on this. And again, people joining in, no, there will never be a live video coverage of the game itself with the game streamed on here. YouTube will yeet us. But again,
immediately.
Immediately. I tried making it tiny. I tried reversing it. I tried putting blocks over it. I tried rescaling. I tried everything under the sun. I even tried putting a chroma key over it. So that all you'd have to do at home is basically pump it into OBS and then put your own chroma key over that. No, it's just never going to happen. Deal with it.
Firmino with the ball, Andy Robertson down the side gets
the other thing is that, and we started talking about this when we broke away from everybody when I moved to Tennessee, when we had our last episode, we started to touch up on VAR. And in the years since VAR has been fully implemented, I think Christopher's become more firm in his position, and his position's actually evolved. Mine hasn't really evolved; it's just been more firm. So, Chris, let's give our takes. Like me personally, I think it's been such a debacle, such an unfixable debacle. I want it gone. Goal line technology is not VAR. I'm okay with goal line technology.
It messed up once in like 5,000 instances. That's not a problem.
It's there to it's there to do one hyper specific thing.
Yeah, that
one
the referees
hyper specific thing. Yeah, where there's no controversy. Where there's absolutely no controversy about it. Right? It's
right every time.
Yeah. It's the camera is designed to do one thing, so the camera can be ultra high def, zoomed in as far as it can go on one fucking thing.
And we also are saying this realizing that we lost a title because of that.
Yeah. Yes.
Literally, we did actually lose a title because of goal line technology.
There was that goal that City
was called a
goal 2 years
goal.
ago. That was called a goal, and it was a goal. Sorry, no, it was not called a goal.
It was no. The one that we didn't score.
Oh, because there was one that City
won
scored.
The game.
There was one that City scored in the 92nd minute of the game.
Yes, but that was not called a goal, and then that was confirmed not a goal.
No, it was a goal. It was the goal that made it over the line by like that much, right?
Oh, right, yeah. So that was okay.
And that goal broke a 0-0 tie that would have won the league for Liverpool. Instead, City got the goal, and that's not me complaining about it. That's the goal line technology doing its damn job.
Yep.
Right.
We got unlucky.
We got unlucky.
Deserved to win it that year.
Yep, we didn't deserve to win it. We only had one
City was
loss
better.
the entire season, and that was to City. And all we had to do was not lose that match, and we win the league. So,
Yep, and we did. So
we did. So that's
lost
on
the
us,
league.
right?
Yep.
So that's us. That's our perspective on goal line technology. Which, again, we are okay with losing the league because of goal line technology. It happened to us as Liverpool fans. How many decades were we without winning the league? How many times did we take second place? And we're okay with losing the league and taking second place by a point. Having had, 97 points that we had that year?
Yep.
Yeah.
Most ever for
by a lot.
winning side.
By a lot.
By
second
3,
place by
I
a
think.
lot.
I think it was 3. I think United had 94.
No, I thought it was 89 was the highest. Either way.
Either way, whatever.
Either
It was
way.
ridiculously high.
We are perfectly okay with goal line technology. I want VAR just gone. It's time to give VAR the boot.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
not
understand your stance.
It's not because I'm a VAR. It's not because I'm a Liverpool homer. You guys saw these shows beforehand. I was against VAR 2 years ago. I was against them bringing in VAR when you and I, Chris, had a chance to sit down and watch. What was a Bundesliga match? Because the Bundesliga instituted VAR before us, and we were actually kind of hopeful about VAR. And then we sat down and watched a Bundesliga match, and we were like,
and they messed it up. But
wow,
the thing is,
this is awful.
But the thing is, they fixed some of their problems in the Bundesliga.
That's not the point, though. Like we saw with the Bundesliga match, it wasn't a matter of they got the calls wrong. It was just like, again, the same bullshit that we're seeing here in the EPL, which is we're going to take
and Major League Baseball.
Yeah, we're going to zoom in to the pixelated level and say, and then, by the way, this shows a complete ineptitude of understanding what pixels are. We're going to zoom in during a live feed and say there's this pixel on an interlaced feed, by the way, not a progressive scan, an interlaced scan, right? So these pixels bleed into each other a whole lot by intention with the interlaced scan. And we're going to say this pixel is ahead of this pixel by a subpixel. And then we're going to somehow rely on like a three-dimensional perspective to draw. What? No. I'm sorry, but being offside by the fart of your ass, like, no, I'm sick and tired of this.
Or here's another one.
And there's no way to read that out, Chris.
It wasn't even Liverpool. It was Leeds. If you stretch out an arm to point where you want the ball, now that makes you offside.
There was a game with.
You're not even you're not moving. You're just pointing it. That's bullshit.
And the number of times VAR has said somebody's hand is offside, that's not a playable part of the body.
Right?
Like, what are we doing here? Right? Like,
when we were growing up, the referees were always told to watch the feet.
Yeah.
Right? When you were refereeing when we were younger, we were told to watch the feet because you can't really tell like this versus this, like where the sleeve is versus isn't. It's
Great
really
stop by.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Great stop by Alisson there.
Yeah, that Liverpool defense is not looking terribly great on the break there.
Yeah, they haven't been very great when they don't have their anchor to cover that.
Yeah, right.
Are you getting a glare on the left side of the lens? Did they get like a smudge in their lens?
It might be. I think it might just be because the pitch is wet because it's England and it rained at some point today.
All right. It's England and it was raining. How about that? But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on VAR generally? I just want it gone.
Okay.
I'm done. I'm okay with referees making mistakes now at this point. Screw it.
Well, first off, the VAR is a referee. So all you're doing is really adding more referees to a problem with referees. So I understand your viewpoint there, but I'm going to say, look at the NFL and see how they pretty much fix their problem with video review. Is that if they can't immediately tell from every single angle that the play was wrong, they just let it stand. Because there's the referee, whether it's in American or the rest of the world football,
yeah,
is closer than any camera you could possibly get. They have a better angle than any VAR. Why are they not letting the referees make the decision, and then VAR saying, "Oh, you fucked this up. This needs to change."
See, when you and I first went into VAR before we watched those Bundesliga games, and we actually wound up watching another one just to confirm our suspicions. We were like, yeah, this would be great because if you're only reserving it for these egregious stuff, something where somebody's just like 10 yards offside and the assistant referee straight.
Right. And this is what I'm saying. The NFL had the same kind of trajectory. So you remember Des Bryant, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're Giants fans. That was a catch.
That was not a catch. His hand was out of bounds. His hand was out of bounds.
No. The one where he's against the Packers that he was not a catch.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about
because
the
it like
Giants,
glanced the ground. Whatever, man. He caught the ball. A catch is a catch.
I mean, that's also not. But that's not a replay thing, dude. That was a.
That was absolutely a replay thing.
No,
that was called not a catch. That was reversed.
Right, because they then changed the rules about what constitutes a catch, and that fixed that problem. Because they were trying to like objectify what constitutes a catch. Like they were trying to say, here's our 40-page handbook on what constitutes a catch.
They need to have the rules line up with VAR, as we have a VAR challenge here.
Oh my God, here it comes.
Oh my God, he got the freaking ball. He got all of the ball and none of the player.
This is going to be undoubtedly a red card against Fabinho and a penalty kick for Fulham.
No, I'm going to say yellow.
Undoubtedly, I know. I'm as
because the keeper's there.
I mean, this is to me. You're right.
Other defenders.
Straight to the ball. Straight to the ball. Incidental contact in the upper half of the body.
That's a corner kick.
That's a corner kick
to Fulham.
Yep, and I honestly, VAR has gotten this so wrong so many times. Why this is taking so long is beyond me too. Like, because this is a subjective.
It should be like 20 seconds. Like I said in the NFL, they used to take 3, 4, 5 minutes for a time.
This is a subjective.
But now it's like
This is a subjective decision that's potentially being overruled
this is going to go to a penalty.
This is a subjective decision that to me should never, ever, ever go to replay. Never. It's a subjective decision.
Yeah, but also look how close the referee is. The referee has a great angle.
Yeah, and is right there.
And is right there.
And is watching it in real time.
And is closer than the camera. That's like what, 200 yards away in the stands?
It doesn't look like he made contact with the ball, Ian. No, that's the one thing you need to make sure of in the box is defender.
Really? It doesn't look like he made contact with the ball? Are you drunk? Like we're going to get a zoom in. We're going to get a zoom in.
Oh, this means penalty. This always means penalty. Every time they go to the board,
is he going up to Fabinho?
Penalty.
This is such utter ridiculous
Every time they've gone to the board,
bullshit.
it's been a penalty.
Oh, he's going to go to the board.
Yep, every single time they've called it, though.
But this is unnecessary. Like, it's
there's
subjective.
There's no clear definitive angle that shows that he definitely 100%
Yep, there's the
fouled
ball.
him.
That's him hitting the ball.
It's the ball.
That's
Is he
the
a
ball.
Player? I don't know. Maybe.
There's no possible there's him hitting the ball and nothing else. Like incidental contact on the. See, here's the thing, Chris. This is my complaint with VAR. Not only are they going to get this wrong, and I don't care about that so much. Why we are like 5 minutes into this VAR review. Like when it comes finally.
Okay.
How about that? They got it right. Yep. They got it right,
but they took 5 minutes to do
There's
it.
no reason for this. Subjective decisions should never go to VAR. Never. Never. And I'm sorry, but as a referee...
Unless it's clearly obvious and they just fucking fucked it up.
No, unless somebody punches somebody in the head while the referee isn't looking, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's the AR's job. That's the AR on the other side's job. Like, you and I have done this so many times and for so long now at this point.
And Liverpool are on the counter off of the corner.
And I'm not complaining about VAR's decision making. I'm complaining.
Anderson gets a clear yellow on Salah. That was unnecessary.
Complaining about the fact that VAR should never be reviewing these sort of subjective decisions. If the referee gets it wrong on the field, so be it. Number one, and number two, when it comes to these subjective decisions, I think you and I both agree.
Foul on Henderson,
agree that if you're going to review it, it needs to be something unbelievably obvious. Again, like punching somebody in the back of the head when the referee isn't looking, right? And if that's going to be the case, that means you're reviewing tape for all of 8 seconds and you're saying red card the guy and foul.
Yeah,
foul
I think
call
there should be
here.
a time limit on this.
That's it. The time limit should be like 10 seconds.
15. But yeah.
And for that matter,
because
they're never going to abide by it.
Whoever's watching this, count at 15 seconds. Just count it out.
Christopher, they did the same thing with the NFL. They did the same thing with the NFL, and they never abided by it. What's the past tense of abide? Is it abided? Abode? No, abode is where you live. Abided?
I don't know.
Obeyed? Obeyed by it? I have no idea what the past tense of abide is. How about that? Because we're
American. Yeah, hooray for American education system.
yeah. We don't speak English. We speak American.
No, there's no A in that. It's just American.
American, yeah. And there's no second A either. It's CN. American.
Mm-hmm. So yes, VAR did get that decision right, but there's no reason that it should have taken that long.
No. No, again,
It shouldn't have even needed to go over the board. If the VAR says it's not a foul, and he called it not a foul,
then what are we doing?
then why are they even watching it?
Yeah, what are we doing? Right, like, and this is the frustrating thing. Like, after a goal is scored, now nobody celebrates. Do you know what
Right.
everybody does? They sit and wait.
Yep, they look right at the referees, and that's what they're doing. Is they want
Right.
they want this to be about the referees. It's
Right.
obnoxious. They want the camera on them.
And to me, folks, there is a human element to the sport. We aren't watching robots. We aren't watching FIFA 64.
We are not Pablo Torre for the Americans that actually know sports analysts.
Right. We aren't watching a video game. We are watching human beings actually play in the real world with real footballs and real soccer and real grass. Like, and the people that are officiating are people. They're real human beings. They have built-in error. I am okay. I prefer the human element of the game. And if the referees are going to get one wrong in real time, you live with it at this point.
Yeah.
And
also,
so when it comes to VAR, no, I'm just done with it. And like, I don't care so much about getting it correct when getting it correct means sacrificing all of the good parts of the game. When a
Right.
goal is scored, you want to jump up out of your seat and like hurl your food all over the place, right? And make a big mess for poor Caitlin to clean up, right? Right? You don't want to sit
That's
there.
my wife.
You don't want to sit there and then cynically wait for VAR to ruin the game when by forcing you to sit there and cynically wait, they've already ruined the game. So no, I'm just done with it. I don't want it. I want it gone.
okay. And also, like I said, they're adding more referees to a problem with referees.
Right. Adding fuel to the adding fire to the fire.
Yeah.
Right. The house is already burning to the ground. The problem is the flames. So you don't add more flames to help the house from burning to the ground.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. But anyway, Liverpool's season has been actually really good. I've been really impressed with with who's been playing and who's been
I
stepping
mean,
up.
you're referring to league, right?
Their group, they won their group, so
Good enough.
anything outside of the cup that they got immediately kicked out of by Arsenal, then yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying because I would prefer I would prefer the meet expectations going into the season, and they aren't. However, they have also been decimated by injuries.
Yes.
So,
And they're coming back, so hopefully with the December fixtures being back to back, what is it, 40 matches in 17 days?
for
league?
the league,
For the
yeah.
league, yeah. That's a lot.
I mean, that is a lot. So hopefully, you're right. Hopefully, once we get healthy, we will get better. You said Virgil's done, right?
Yeah, torn ACL, man.
Oh yeah, so he's done. I mean, unless we get another COVID break, which I really hope not.
Yeah.
Like that was not good for anyone.
Yeah, I mean, we have vaccines in production. Hopefully, we won't have a problem with this going forward.
Oh yeah, I mean, in
Like,
addition
we should
to
be trending towards the right direction.
yeah, and I mean not to get too off topic here, but like we already have a lot more information. We already have things like remdesivir that are treatments that help with recovery. You know, we have a knowledge base now that it allows for better recovery times. This is why our outcomes percentages are way below what they were in March and April. So
Right, because we didn't know anything about it. We didn't.
yeah, and at this point, I you know.
Oh, nice
great
save from
stop by
Alisson.
Alisson. So yeah, I mean,
Was
at
that
this
Indisa
point,
that
at
took
this
that
point, it would
shot?
take something obviously partisan and political to me, barring stroke of lightning, bad luck, to see this not see this season through. That to me, that's what I would see if it was going to happen. Because
Yeah, and this isn't
because again,
isn't
you're
the
right. We've
United
got
States,
vaccines
and we're actually
galore
screwing
coming
this
out.
up.
Yeah, we've got vaccines galore coming out. We're already improving outcomes. We're finding out more about what's causing these negative outcomes, or what's predicting.
What the fuck? What was that, guys? Come on,
Come
man.
on, guys!
Defense broke down again.
Fulham scores on a freebie.
Fucking
25
freebie.
minutes in, Liverpool down one to Fulham
At Craven Cottage. This is
at Craven Cottage. Yep. All right, Chris, give us the. Give us the replay when they bring it back.
it's right off of a Fulham corner. We actually get the ball out and then don't get the second clearance, and then they maintain the possession while we're all out of position.
Yeah.
And it drops.
So it was just
drops.
it was an overcommittal to the offensive turnaround.
Yeah.
And this is where you need
and that
somebody.
line was way too high.
That line was way too high. This is where you need somebody like Virgil to not necessarily cover for people's mistakes, but to hold the damn line.
That
But
they
like-
need to get better at clearances. There needs to be like real solid like headers out and send it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, like Mohamed Salah is not winning a header. First things first. He's just
No,
not.
he's not. He's the shortest dude on the pitch.
Well,
Ugh.
we've
This
got
team's
the
in
best
relegation.
manager.
Why are we
We've got the best manager in the world. Hopefully, we can get some goals out of this.
And they have a bad defense. Like why? Ugh. Why?
Oh, Klopp's pissed. And it looks like he's not even yelling at the referee. It looks like he's pissed at his players,
Yeah,
which he should be. That was embarrassing.
that was embarrassing. It looked like he said, "Why didn't you clear it out?"
I mean, that's not really even the issue. The issue is
Yeah,
that
I
line,
thought that's what he said though.
that line should never be that high when the ball is that far back. Like, they had the entire team within 5 yards of each other in terms of their vertical space.
Right, like they didn't. It's like they acted like to a better clearance. That was not a good clearance, and they overcommitted on it. And that's
Yeah, they overcommitted to the transition. Yeah, okay, yeah. So you see, was it Genie there that went to ball?
Mm-hmm.
So we just watched a little bit of Spurs. And
I watched a little bit of it. I didn't get to to watch all of it because I got some breakfast.
So Spurs were
I
up
got a
1-0.
ham, egg, and cheese from a local bagel place, and it is fucking delicious.
So, we at one point you and I were watching it, Chris. Spurs were up 1-0 in the late parts of the first half, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, "Man, why is Fulham why is Tottenham so far back? Why aren't they pressing this ball at all?" And I was like, "Christopher, they're up 1-0 against a team they should be beating. Who is their manager?
Yeah,
Jose.
Jose likes to park the bus.
And it came and bit
He's done
him
it.
in the
He's
ass.
Done it since he was at Chelsea.
Yeah, parked the bus Mourinho, right? And it was funny because Genie, when he went to ball there, I was pointing out to you like Son and Kane,
Who are
when
having
they were
great seasons, by the way.
who are having great seasons, but who were in that exact position weren't even attempting. They were just like lightly jogging over towards ball, and not really even towards ball, you know.
And that's not on them. That's on them. They're listening to their manager.
That is a managerial style that is a bear to watch. It is brutal to watch, and there's a reason football fans hate Jose, and it's not because
Oh, I love Jose.
everyone who's
I think
played
his
for
mouth
Jose
is wonderful. It is so funny.
yeah, I mean he's good for guys like you and me because we're smart asses, and we love the fact that there's a guy to dump on, right?
Yeah, right?
But yeah, no, I mean
He's still
like
a good
Jose,
manager.
there's a reason your fans like turn against you, and I wonder if that's the same reason his players tend to turn against him.
I don't know. I've heard he's just kind of an ass.
Yeah, well, I mean, have you seen
Yeah.
his interviews?
Yeah.
He's
They're
an
hilarious,
ass.
and he's kind of an ass.
He's an ass.
Haven't beaten Liverpool in league action since the 2011-2012 season. They did the double over them.
Yeah, I mean, also, Palace aren't exactly a great attacking team. So,
One at Anfield with a Martin's
Yeah, I mean, they should have won that game quite a bit more handily than they did.
Fulham finished ninth that year, and Liverpool only.
but we should also not be losing to Fulham.
That's true. And I mean, it hasn't even looked good to the eye test to me.
No, like, Fulham
Like-
actually have had some breaks. They've had to transition. They've been good on set pieces. Excuse me.
So, during the break, I may have to run next door and get believe it or not, root beer. And I say root beer because last night we went to a brewery for my birthday, and
Oh, nice.
they actually had the best root beer I've ever had in my life. And I'm not usually a root beer drinker. Like, I kind of don't like
No, you're
root
not.
beer for the most part.
Honestly, you're not even a dark soda drinker.
Period.
Yeah.
I guess it's because I'm racist against soda or something.
Soders.
Soders, yeah.
Oh, as we give it away to Fulham, yet again,
Yep.
just hand it over.
Yeah, you know what? We may need Diego Jota to come on.
He's hurt.
Is he hurt? Oh, God.
Yeah, he had a midweek knee injury.
Well, wouldn't that be just Liverpool 2020 for
Right? Right?
Diego Jota, who's averaging what, a goal a game? Is it right now?
Pretty much.
Pretty much a goal a game.
And he's been scoring off the bench too, so I don't even know. I think he has more than a goal per 90.
I mean, it's a soft yellow, but all right, I'll take. All right,
It's because of the position in the break.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Jones and Williams have been famous for getting beat in position and then trying to make up for it with
Nico
fouling.
specifically. Reese has been better about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a complaint that you made to me over the phone a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
That like the number of times that they get beat and wind up having to foul. Yeah, I mean, this is why we need that back four, because like even when we were healthy, our back four was only good because of Virgil. Like Trent, I love him moving forward. Robbo, I love moving forward.
Oh my God,
Holy
what
crap,
a save!
What a world-class save from our keeper.
And he was in.
Offside? Did they just say he was offside?
Oh yeah.
He's off.
Yep, he didn't get back. He did not get back. See, that's clear. That if that was a goal, and they went to VAR and said no goal, and like that's all it take was 5 seconds to look at it.
Look at
He's
that
offside
stop, though.
and immediately call it.
Look at that stop, though. Like this is
I
the
know.
difference between Kelleher, Adrian, and Alisson.
Who?
Like Alisson,
Kelleher, who, and Alisson? I don't know who you're talking about.
the men that shall not be named.
The man who should be sold. Even though we got
did
him
he
on a
touch
free.
it?
I mean, he was dropped by West Ham. Like the world should know like he wasn't that good.
I mean, I always thought of him as an acceptable, given our style, backup.
Yeah,
That's
but
it.
I also think that Kelleher has proven that he's better than that.
Yeah. And if you've got the
He's
guy
20,
that you've been training.
22? I think he's
Yeah.
22.
And he's also come up through the Liverpool ranks. And generally
Right.
speaking, you want the guy that you have been training from a systems perspective.
Mhm.
Like the guy that
Absolutely.
you brought up. You know?
And he's proven that he can do it against Ajax, who are one of the best attacking teams in the world.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're really damn good. And he had a clean sheet against him. Like, what more can you? And I think 5 saves. What more can you ask from a 22-year-old in his debut?
Yeah, so Robbo, like I've loved Robbo because he's great moving forward, and he's lightning fast, so he kind of is pretty good about
He's
making up
sneaky
ground.
fast too. Because when you look at him run, he doesn't look like he's all that fast. And then you're like, oh man, he caught up.
Yeah, so he's the guy that gets beat and then makes up the ground. And I think the reason he's able to get away with that is because, yes, Virgil is there on that side in case he really does get beat. Virgil can come out and clean up his mess.
Like
And
he
the
always does.
players that are on the attacking side know Virgil is there. So they kind of have to shade to the outside so they don't have to run into Virgil, which gives him room to make up that ground, which he otherwise normally wouldn't have. And I think that's what you're seeing now. Teams, when they beat Robbo, they go inside and go straight for those center backs, which have
Yeah,
by
and
all
I've
means,
noticed that a lot of teams are picking on Fabinho because
Yeah.
he's the short one.
Fabinho, he's the short one. Isn't he like 6'1"?
He's like 6'0".
Still, I mean,
I mean, when you're comparing
between
him to
and
like
Matip,
yeah, between him and Matip and Reece Williams and Nate Phillips, Fabinho's the shortest.
yeah, I mean, I would still prefer Gomez once.
Yeah, but Gomez is out
ever,
for. Yeah,
if he ever gets healthy again.
I don't think I've ever seen him play even a full season before.
Well, I mean, he said his injury was what, like a broken ankle or something?
I don't remember what it was, but it was bad, and I prefer not to think about it. I just know that he's out for a while. And that was
Christ.
see, like
Robbo had to come and save that. That was definitely not the Robbo.
no, that was definitely supposed to be over to Jones.
Yeah.
Jones did.
Not a bad lead. Not a bad lead to Mane. Can he get around?
Oh, he couldn't get it. He couldn't get it over the middle, and now the keeper's got it.
I mean, she shouldn't have been taking that as a shot, to be honest.
I don't think he was.
Let's see if we can.
It's also on like a half
Man,
volley.
Fulham, your stadium sucks. Your camera angles are awful. See, look at this. Get the
Right?
ball to Salah or get the ball to Firmino. You know,
There
there's
are
plenty of guys.
too many white shirts.
Yep.
That's a credit to Fulham midfielders getting back.
Okay, so that was muscling. Do you see? So I talked about how the sport is moving more towards the muscling offensive player rather than the the finesse player. So much more of the Lukaku style of attack than, say, a Pele style of attack.
Or Messi.
Yeah, and
Messi is not the only downside to his play is that he's not that strong.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Because he's not that big.
He's tiny.
Yeah, that's literally the only downside to him. Otherwise, he's the perfect.
So I think that's the way the league is going to move forward, especially the way they've been calling fouls on defensive players. Like, it makes more sense to have that big, brutish guy who's going to win those challenges where you have to make the muscle challenge. Those shoulder attacks, or the body positioning, shielding on headers, stuff like that.
And I think it's because the calling on those plays has gone so weak.
Well, it's
the
gone
offensive players are getting every call.
Yeah, it's gone extremely favorable to offensive,
Yep.
and that's a direct result of how the game has been called. Not a rules change of any kind, just a way that their center referees have been making these foul calls. And that's
because you can have a spike of a toe hit the spike of a toe, and that's a penalty. Well, then a 50-50 ball, and there's no clear definition of who got the ball.
Yeah, I mean, the onus then becomes on the defensive player to make the safe side of the play. So you'd rather have that big bruising Lukaku type, or the guy from Wolves. What's his name?
Raul Jimenez?
No, not Traore. Traore?
Yeah, he's hulking, but he's not all that big. He's like short. He's like what, 5'8"?
Yeah, but the point is that his style is to use the muscle to get by players, which isn't him fouling somebody to get by.
Or you get the Jack Grealish, who is, I'm going to dance around you, and as soon as I feel contact, I'm going to go to ground.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Fortunately, we are in front of the internet, so we can refer to the internet.
And that's what I'm saying, is these calls allow for those players to do whatever they want as long as they make it seem like they got fouled. And I think that's just...
Man, all I just want... Oh, yeah, it is Adama Traore, yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be with Wolves for very long because of that. And he's a player that you and I have talked about how it would be nice to have him on the squad, though the squad in the attacking side is actually quite good. So
yeah, I mean, everybody that they have that would play the same position as him is better than him at it. Yeah,
I mean, we've both said for a while now what we need is a center back. And unfortunately, in terms of gettable center backs, what is there?
Right? Of the good ones that are healthy. I don't really know that many that are out. Right. So you're going to overpay. And you're going to have to overpay if you're going to get somebody.
And we had this discussion about, should it be done in the middle of the season or should it be done,
I thought it should be done in the off season because they needed a backup center back. Because I even said before the league started, unfortunately, there's no way to confirm this, but I said that if Virgil goes down, who do they have? Who can be that serviceable backup?
And then Virgil went down.
They didn't have one.
Thank you, Christopher. Now I know why he got injured. Did you say no hitter in the ninth?
Right?
I think you said no hitter in the ninth.
Did I say that Carlos Beltran had a hit?
Ooh boy, that was scary.
Right over the face of goal. The Fulham movement has looked really good over the middle. And Caballero's onside.
What? Oh my God, Joel. That was a really terrible hold.
Bad defense.
Bad defense, yeah. I mean, it's starting to be reminiscent of the 13-14 squad, which is honestly, until the Lord Voldemort incident, because we won't speak of it. That was probably the most fun team to watch. Right?
Yeah.
Because, and that's, to me, the origin of rock and roll football with this team. Maybe.
The Fulham defender got there just in front of Mane.
Yeah, just ahead of Mane. Mane couldn't get a good piece of it.
Good play, though. Good movement from that right side.
No, it looks like it got to Mane.
That's something since Trent has come back. Yeah, that was from Jones. So,
yeah, no, it looks like Mane got a piece of it, just not a good piece of it.
Right.
Yeah, so it looks
since
like
Trent came back, he has not really been all that pushing forward. And I think that might have to do, like what you said, with the change in the defense, is that Trent is not moving near as forward as he used to be. He's not putting in near as many crosses. He's playing more defense.
Fabinho with the header. It's one of the more surprising
Okay, that was interesting.
The Premier League so far this season, and it's part of the attraction of the
So you guys, so since we're two Americans watching footy, are you going to be watching any football this
Oh,
afternoon?
of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I have to watch my NFC East leading Giants at 4-7.
They made it to 5-7.
Oh, sorry, 5-7. Ooh.
All right, so if there are any internationals that wind up watching this game, so in football, not football, we actually pronounce our vowels in football.
And we have too long a pronunciation.
We add sounds
Extra
to those
vowels.
vowels instead, like
Yeah.
football, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have
We
divisions.
have divisions?
Yeah.
Yes, which is weird to
Foreigners,
outside
yeah.
people. Yeah, people
Yeah,
outside
so
of the United States.
imagine, folks, if you had, say, like the London division of the EPL. Imagine if you had the North. Imagine if you had like the Midlands or the Southwest or the non-London South, right? Imagine if you had like these teams broken up into those divisions and those regional divisions, and
also
at the Premiership level.
Yeah.
And focus the season around those divisions. So in the EPL now, everybody plays everybody twice, in a home and away. Well, imagine if you had, say,
16 games instead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 16 games. Well, yeah. Okay. Let's say you didn't play everybody. Well, how would you break that up? Well, if you had regional divisions, that's how you do things. Now, the reason
And the only reason that we have that is because our country is massive.
Right. So today, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. The NFL makes enough money. Flying from New York to LA is no big deal, right? But
Yeah, the
when the
longest
sport
distance is Seattle to Miami.
yeah, when the sport first came into existence at the professional level in the 1920s, it was the 1920s.
Yeah, 1925, by the way.
Yeah.
And the New York Football Giants were one of the original founding members.
So I think it were the Browns, something like that.
I think so, but they
The
got
Browns, which are now the Ravens.
yes.
But the point is that the United States is huge in area, so in the 1920s, it was impractical for teams to regularly fly from one end of the country to the other.
If they even
Right.
could.
If they
Most of
even
the-
could. And
yeah,
commercial
charter
flight
bus.
kind of technically existed in the late 1920s, right? But it would mean you'd have to fly from like New York to like Indianapolis to Chicago to St. Louis to Kansas City, to Denver and then out to San Francisco or something like that, which was just
Instead of
completely
taking
impractical.
a 28 or 36-hour bus ride.
Right. And that was back in the time when the reason that games were played on Sunday was because guys worked during the week.
Right.
Right. So Sunday was the only day where you could guarantee these guys had the day off.
Yes.
Because back then there was no money in the NFL. So
No.
guys had to work real jobs, to actually put food on the table. So we have divisions. And here we go.
Oh, just wide.
Just wide. So in the NFL, we have a playoff because not everybody plays each other. So at the end of the
Right.
season, the best teams during league play in a playoff, kind of like the championship. How they have a playoff. at the end.
Well, also kind of like Champions League or Europa when you're having
Past
different
the group
leagues and trying to
stage,
figure
yeah.
out who's the best of that group. They don't play each other.
Yeah. So after group play, you play in a playoff. Now it's a home and away in soccer, but in football it's not because there just isn't time to cram it all in. So what we wind up having is a playoff. Well, how do you get into the playoff? Well, one of the ways you can get into the playoff is to win your division. Because you
Right.
don't play everybody, if you had the best performance of the teams in your region, you automatically make it into the playoffs. And the Giants at
Better than everybody else in their division.
Yep, at 5-7, and may actually make the playoffs with a 6-10 record, which would be the worst record in NFL
Ever.
history to make it to the playoffs, and also it would only be the third team with a losing record to make it to the playoffs.
Yes, because the 7-9 Seahawks made it, and the 7-8-1 Panthers did.
Yes, the 7-8-1 Panthers did. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Cam Newton on his run.
That
His
said,
first one.
from the eye test, this would be by far the worst team to make it to the playoffs if that was the
absolutely,
case.
absolutely.
And quite frankly,
That Seahawks team had a really good offense.
And
They
quite
just
frankly,
got hurt.
going into the season, Chris, you and I were like, no shot at the playoffs. If
Yeah.
they make it to 5 or 6 wins, huge improvement. Then they lost Saquon Barkley, arguably one of the 3 or 4, maybe the best, depending on who you're talking to, running backs in the league. They lost him for the season in the
Who,
first
by
game.
the way, had never been hurt in his career.
Yeah.
He
They
had
lost
never
him for
missed
the
a
season
game at Penn State.
in the first game of the season. So having Saquon Barkley on your team is kind of like, who would it be like having on your team now? Like a complete game changer to have on your team.
Like a De Bruyne, to be honest.
To have, yes, very good analogy. It would be like losing Kevin De Bruyne for the
Saquon
the
Barkley
season.
is that good.
Yeah. Imagine what Manchester City would look like if they lost Kevin De Bruyne for the entire season.
Yep.
Now imagine if Manchester City equaled their win total that they were expected to get to, and we're still in contention for, say, a Champions League position in the league.
Right?
Like,
It's
you'd be
just
really
not-
impressed.
Yeah.
So I watched none of the first 8 games of the season because
They were
8 games
awful.
because 8 games into the season the Giants were 2-6 and they were awful. But the
and their
entire
two
rest of the
wins-
division,
Their two wins were against the Washington football team.
right, a team
Who are-
that doesn't have an actual name. It's just the Washington football team. Yeah. So
And if anybody here has seen The Big Green, I like to call them the Washington Nobodies because they have no name.
yeah, well, because the rest of the division doesn't want to win the division either.
Nope. Cowboys suck and the Eagles suck.
The Cowboys suck, the Eagles suck, and the
Granted, okay,
I
okay.
can't call them the Redskins. I hope we don't get yeeted. Redskins,
Right?
Redskins. The Washington football team, which is just the most hilariously petty story on so many levels, from the league's perspective and from the team's perspective. So petty, and I think it's hilarious. They don't want to win the division either, and they're typically bad, and they're bad this season.
Yep.
So the Giants, at 3-7, were at one point on top of the division at 3-7,
Yep.
which I never would have expected to see. And then because they had so many games against the division left, they had a real chance to win the division at
Yep, and
3-7.
And then the only team that they beat outside of, the Seahawks were a good team.
That was a
and then
giant. That was a
That
giant.
was the
upset.
biggest
That was a
biggest
huge
upset of the year at the time,
until Washington came out
Until
of nowhere
Washington
and beat the
and
undefeated Steelers.
right? Weird.
All right,
Sports are
so we
weird.
got Robbo and Trent over ball here. I think Trent.
This
should
is going
rip.
to be the last play of the half.
Yeah, so Trent should rip. Okay, Robbo is going to cross.
And miss
right.
everybody.
All right.
Well, they look like crap, and they've had really no
Yeah, they've looked really
no
unimpressive. They
presence
look
on
like
goal. They don't look good at all.
Yeah,
they're
they
getting
look
beat
like
on the break. They're not hitting the ball inside their box. They're getting the feeds in, but they're just not connecting.
yeah, and quite frankly, like right now they're playing like a middle of the pack team, like City.
You had to say that one, didn't you?
That was an intentional dig. All right, so this
I
is
was going to
normally-
say like Arsenal because they're playing like arse.
Oh shit! I forgot to update the score here. Let me update the score.
Yeah, right.
Fulham score.
Disappointing.
On it. Staying fit and snacking light?
Okay.
On it there too. You may think you're doing
Why is this reversed?
diabetes and heart disease. But could your medication do more to lower your heart risk? Jardians can reduce the risk of cardiovascular death for adults who also have
Oh my God, they're playing Apache. I had no idea that there was like an acoustic version of Apache.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we are moving on to halftime. So normally halftime is when we would bring on a breakfast special. So Chris, to show the world how to actually eat a breakfast at
Yes.
12:15 in the
Yes.
afternoon.
Which,
Let's-
by the
let's see
way,
what
I
you
would
wound up
normally
getting.
be up for about 9 hours because of work. This is some of what is left of a ham, egg, and cheese on an everything bagel.
Partially digested. Jesus Christ, Chris. Well done.
It's mostly eaten. And it has legitimate ham, egg, and cheese on there, and it is freaking delicious.
Where'd you get it from?
I'm trying to get this from I don't know if you can see it, from Bagel Man, who's right down the road from me and has fantastic stuff. This is a free plug.
Yeah, because God forbid we ever get sponsorship.
Oh yeah, right now I don't really care about that. But I'm saying that they have fantastic bagels, and they are fresh and made there, and you cannot beat it. And it's actually really filling. And with a cup of coffee, it gives you nice poops in the morning.
Nice poops in the morning. Yeah, at 12:20 in the afternoon in the morning.
Yeah, whatever.
Man, I kind of wish I could go to JoJo's right now and get some breakfast. Unfortunately, it's Sunday, and they're not open because welcome to America, folks. One of the downsides of America, blue laws. And what blue laws created was a situation where many stores are just not open on Sundays just because of tradition. Like, why stay open on Sundays if nobody's going out and shopping on Sundays?
Exactly.
So
And it's not a law anymore. They got rid of those, 10 years ago?
oh yeah, the blue laws in Connecticut conveniently got lifted exactly in time for me to move back to Connecticut from Georgia when I was living in Georgia.
Who never had them?
No, they did. They were conveniently lifted
I thought they were
when I
just in-
moved to Georgia from Connecticut.
Yeah, but I mean, you could be like in Kentucky where they just outright ban alcohol.
Which is
just
so
like, what the hell? Like,
yeah, and I'm sure
one of the places that has some of the best bourbon in the world.
yeah,
Some of the best alcohol that they could possibly make in the world.
yeah.
And
So
they're not
it's-
allowed.
Kentucky has the Bourbon Trail, where you
Yes.
go from one brewery to the next, from one
Distillery.
distillery, to the next, and you can't actually drink the bourbon there.
Well, you can.
Oh, it's on site. You can.
Yeah, you can on site, but you can't take it home.
You can't take it home. You can't buy the bourbon at the distillery, but the distillery can ship it, and then you can buy it at a retailer
Yep.
because of stupid laws in Kentucky that forbid alcohol sales and consumption.
Yeah, I'm genuinely not a fan of the state.
Yeah.
Been there a couple times.
I've only been there
Anyway.
once. It was to Louisville, and it was for an EIG, the GIE, basically a landscapers expo. So it was a lot of fun. We got to ride all kinds of cool toys. Hey man, it was a lot of fun, man. We got to ride a lot of cool toys. We got to run some aerators, and it was a lot of fun. We got to see some really cool presentations. There were a lot of big companies there, like Stihl and Husqvarna, and because there were a lot of big companies like Stihl, which is based in Germany, they brought their talent to advertise their product, and the talent in Germany.
Better than here.
Yeah. Excuse me while I get yeeted for whatever that is.
I don't even know. I just
in
know
context
it okay.
was obviously like fine, very fine, right?
Real fit buds.
Named Beckett.
No, they didn't have messed up teeth. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to.
Yeah. They had teeth. They actually had teeth, and they weren't like T-Rex teeth.
I know I'm going to piss off some Brits here, but do you know why the toothbrush was invented in England? Because everywhere else they'd call it the toothbrush.
Yeah. It's usually West Virginia here in the U.S. or whatever.
Yeah, sure. We have ours too here.
Yeah, we have our equivalent. Yeah, and it's not even the South.
Exactly
it's not even the South. It's like Appalachia, you know?
Pretty much.
So for folks watching overseas, again, there's a huge difference from the South and like Appalachia. Like Appalachia is where you're gonna find like a lot of TV shows, right? Appalachia, the hills of the border between West Virginia and Virginia, and Tennessee and Virginia, and North Carolina and Tennessee, and North Carolina and like northeastern Georgia. Yeah. That's where you find people who speak English in America on an American television show where they use subtitles to broadcast in America the American English that they're speaking because you can't understand them.
So basically it's like filming in Liverpool.
Yeah, it'd be like if you were Rebecca Lowe and you spoke like Rebecca Lowe and you were in London and you spoke with a Chelsea accent, that beautiful Chelsea accent, right? And then all of a sudden you had Carragher come out of nowhere.
Drunk Carragher.
Yeah. Well,
Imagine
that's
drunk
true.
Carragher.
That's true because it'd be drunk.
Because they
Carragher.
are all drunk.
Because they're all drunks. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it'd be like. let us know in the comment section, if you will, if there are.
If there's anybody actually listening or watching.
Yeah, I know. If there's even one person watching.
Right?
So we would love to know if there's like an equivalent of this in England anywhere. Like if there's like a Birmingham. I don't know if Birmingham would fit that description or something where like it's
Birmingham,
just a bunch
Alabama,
of
you
toothless.
mean?
No, Birmingham, England. If there's like a
Also Birmingham, Alabama.
toothless white trash, bunch of drunks who are absolutely destitute, right?
And-
they make
Yeah.
they make their living off of illegally making and selling really awful hooch. And I say really awful hooch because apparently, like, that's where all the good white lightning is. That's where all of the good, what's it called?
Moonshine?
Moonshine. That's where all the good moonshine is. Apparently, you can buy legal moonshine, but I guess it's not as good as the illegal stuff or something.
I don't know. I don't drink that crap. I did a couple times, and it's like drinking.
It's like fire water. It's like drinking
Yeah.
lava. Like, it's the stuff you use to clean your fucking engine.
Yeah.
Not actual liquor.
No. And I've had 151, and they taste pretty much the same.
I don't know. I think 151 actually has some flavor to it, but it is, again, like fire water.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't get it. Like, I'm not as big a fan of bourbon as you are, but still. And actually, moonshine, is that rye whiskey or is that?
Gross.
I mean, it's lava, is what it is. You're drinking lava.
White lava. Yeah.
Yeah,
Clear
you're drinking
lava.
clear lava. So, like,
It is-
no thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like a cleaner, and it smells like a cleaner.
Yeah. Again, it's an engine greaser.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's what you had in your parts cleaner machine.
Yeah.
Clean the grease and the oil off the shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what were we talking about? Moonshine before that? How the hell did we get into moonshine?
Doesn't everybody ask that question? Whoever talks about or drinks moonshine.
Oh, because of Appalachia. That's right. Because the drunks in Appalachia. So.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
so-
what a good! They were showing the replays of the Tottenham Crystal Palace game, and that was a good goal by Harry Kane.
As much as we kind of hate Harry Kane's guts.
Claim.
Harry claims guts. Why is my
And then
quality from Hulu so bad right now?
I don't know. Mine's fine. I'm also on a phone.
Oh, so it's a smaller screen.
Yep.
Maybe there's like a settings I can fiddle with. Quality best available. Oh, and I can't. Okay. All right. Maybe that's because my roommates are playing some sort of giant MMORPG or something like that, and just hoarding bandwidth. Des Moines.
Oh, probably.
Des Moines. There are soccer fans in Des Moines.
There are people in Des Moines.
Yes.
Sorry.
Des Moines matters once every 4 years when there's an election, when there's a presidential election.
Oh yeah, and the caucuses come up.
And the caucuses come up because they're the first ones, and they get flooded with mainstream media.
And then everybody forgets about them immediately after.
Yeah, and then they destroy the place and leave.
Yep. They're like teenagers.
They're teenagers. They come in every 4 years and they destroy the place and then they leave. Yeah. Kind of like children, actually. They come in every 4 years, they destroy the place, and then they leave. Thank God.
Yeah, but that takes 18 years sometimes.
Yeah, it takes 18 years sometimes.
Or more.
And when I say sometimes, we only mean sometimes because it usually takes like 26 years.
Like for you and I.
Yeah. Almost as long to graduate college as it does to move out of the house.
Yep. Hey, a lot of people take 7 years to graduate college.
Yeah, they're called doctors, Tommy.
Although I did actually celebrate one time with my writing intensive class when I cheered that I got a D+.
You got a D+.
I got a D+. That was a hard class, and
Did we even have D pluses in Binghamton?
and it was 8 o'clock in the morning.
I don't think we even
And I
had D
was
pluses in Binghamton.
18, so I didn't like getting up.
Yeah, I don't even.
That was
I don't-
14 years ago, so yeah, been a while.
Yeah, so let's do a quick reminder. Anyone who's watching, no, you're not going to get the game. Tune us on with the game or whatever, however you want to do this. But we can't. I would love to show the game with this. It would make much more sense in context to have the game on screen. We can't do it. We can't do it. There's no way to do it without getting yeeted. So
Immediately,
I mean,
even if we've even tried putting in the credits for it, it doesn't matter.
Right. You know what we could do is we could do this in post, but that's not the point of the live show. The point
Right.
of the live show is to go live. So I mean, I can easily get away with it in post by making the screen much smaller, like the game itself pretty small, and then it's basically just your standard reaction video. But we can't do it live. We can't. There's no way to do it live. Get over it, people at home.
Also,
the point of the show is two Americans watching footy.
If there's any Brits watching, write in the comments how you can watch this stuff, because I know that there's been some weird things going on, and we're not totally familiar with your pay-per-view or whatever bullshit broadcasting system that they have now. I've heard it's really bad, that's really expensive. So if you could give us more information on it, it'd be great, because I don't really know much about it.
Yeah. You know what would be kind of cool would be to have some sort of, if we had a friend overseas who was English of some sort, and we could bring them on. So it'd be it would be two Americans watching footy with a Brit, which I think would be kind of cool, just to get like their take on all this.
Drink some water.
Especially like you said, when it comes to like how on earth you actually watch this, because here in America we have one channel for soccer. One, it's called NBC Sports Network.
Well,
And
two if you count Bundesliga.
I guess, but
Bundesliga's
we're
on Fox
talking about
Sports.
the EPL. We're talking about the EPL. If you want to watch EPL, there's one channel to watch it on, NBC
And-
Sports Network. And quite frankly, their coverage is great, but, and here's the but, many of the games aren't shown on NBC Sports Network. They're shown on their force you to buy it app.
Yep.
And I can't remember how much you said it was a month, but it was like really unnecessary.
It was like $6. It's only like $6 a month, but that's still unnecessary for something that they should just be broadcasting anyway. There's no overlaps.
Oh yeah,
They don't have overlaps anymore.
they're clearly cannibalizing their own network by forcing the main game on Peacock. Right?
Every time it's on Peacock, it's the late game. Every late game. So we've missed some big matches because of it, because they don't feel like broadcasting it.
Yeah. Now, that said, I have to applaud England. I don't know if this is a deliberate effort. I have yet to have to get up at some god-awful hour in the morning to watch the games. Like, I have yet... There was a few games where you and I
7:30 's
had to get up
earliest.
at like 5:30 in the morning for a game that aired at 6 o'clock in the morning. A
Yeah, the
regular
earliest
league
has
game.
been 7:30.
What?
The earliest has been 7:30, and for somebody who's usually up at 2 or 3 in the morning for work, that's fine for me.
Yeah. Oh, so things that also happened during the break. Christopher got a new job.
Yes,
You wanna
I
talk
work
about
at
it?
UPS. I put brown boxes into brown trucks at 3 o'clock in the morning so that the drivers can bring you crap.
So what time are
I
you
get
usually up in the
paid-
morning then?
Yeah, I have to be. Well, tomorrow I have to be in at 2.
In the
I'm
morning.
usually out by about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, and then go home and nap for 4 hours.
And then you wake up and start your day.
Or if I want to make extra money, they pay me overtime to help the drivers that have the commercial routes.
So you're basically just lifting a handful of heavy boxes every once in a while, right? What's
Yes,
that
that's
even like
easier.
then? The ride along.
What's up?
Like is this ride along like ride along at the hardware store where occasionally there would be a delivery of like a grill to like 45 minutes away, so the passenger is just
No, it's more like, well, yeah, while you're driving, but there's a lot more stops.
yeah we put the autopilot in. Yep.
Yeah, but
we have cruise control.
You're taking stops every 30 seconds to a minute.
All right, even
You're
on
not in
commercial
the
routes.
vehicle
Okay.
for all that wrong. They want the routes to be localized so that you're not doing that. You're not taking long drives because that costs them money.
Yeah, so making money at Ups.
Yeah, and they have wonderful medical benefits.
So if you're in America and you're in Northwest Connecticut and your shit gets fucked up on delivery, then you
It's
know
because
who-
somebody didn't throw it.
All right, we are back into the second half. And for some reason, again, I'm getting like such terrible video quality, and Fulham on the break right away.
And Fulham immediately have the ball and in good spot and in good position yet again.
Sorry, Chris, I'm just updating our...
That's fine. I need to like eat. Jesus, guys, come on, get it out. Clear it out.
So you're gonna be munching on on live right here, yeah.
Yep. I need to eat at some point too.
Well, you know,
Jones has the ball on the break. This is looking like a good position for Liverpool. Oh, quality save from Areola, but not spectacular.
Areola.
Good save.
Areola.
What's his name?
Yeah. Yeah. And it means nipple. It means titty in English.
Spelled differently?
Tiddy, titty. How'd it go?
What's up?
How'd that bagel go?
Oh, I'm not done with it yet.
No, all right. Gonna continue to eat on the air.
Oh, yeah, of
That's
course
it.
I am.
Oh, we're true professionals here. See, look, we wanted to give you guys an idea of what it would look like for two real fans of real American fans of the sport to watch a beautiful game. Also, great stop by Alisson. And we wanted to give the due and the credit that is due Americans, which is more credit than they've been getting, but not more credit than they deserve, because
Right.
we are Americans, and as you know,
still assholes.
yep, we started our stream right on time, of course, which right on time means
Late.
I don't know, a minute and a half into the game.
Yeah,
And
we
yeah,
don't
we
take
are
breaks.
perfectly willing-
We don't take 2-3 hour breaks like some places do in the rest of the world. But we're like late all the time to everything. So.
Yeah. So imagine if the Spanish didn't take siesta.
Yeah, they just didn't come in until 9.
Yeah, and then when they
Instead
get
of going
home,
into 8.
yeah, and then when they get home, they have to eat some giant burrito and then pass out on the couch, watching footy, watching football, which for them would be football, and for us
Yeah.
it's going to be football.
Oh, get there.
Not a bad chip. Here we
Ooh.
go. Here we go, Trent.
Trent's got
Didn't
the
get
ball.
it to his right, and the cross. Cross stop by Nipple.
Areola. Too close to the keeper.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough spot to get across, and probably better off to have gone to Salah, maybe. Get it back a little bit.
Maybe,
For the
but
back
there
of
were
the
players
field.
in the way.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, never know how they would have reacted.
Yeah, hindsight, right? Oh, here's
Captain
something.
hindsight.
Okay, here's something that has been a silver lining of COVID, right? Because there at one point wasn't allowed anyone into the stadium except for basically the players and referees and coaches. No ball boys were allowed in, and no fans were there. So if a ball goes sailing into the stands, what do? You're not gonna have the players go climbing up into the stands, right?
Oh, this has been a nitpicky point from Michael for a while.
Yeah. So they used to have one ball, and it's like, I
Why?
get it, I totally get it, but because
Why?
COVID, now they're no longer playing one ball. Now when a ball goes sailing out of bounds, they have a ball waiting for them.
Yes.
And like every other
This
fucking
is-
league on the planet, they have finally come to grips with reality and have done one thing right, and that is multiple balls. Now when a ball goes sailing out of bounds, we don't get a fucking 2-minute stoppage of play while the home team plays volleyball,
Right?
Oh, we've got a
Dumb.
1-goal lead, so we're going to sit here and play volleyball with this ball. Olé! Olé! Olé!
Okay, Chelsea fans.
Dicks. Yeah.
By the way, Chelsea fans were voted the worst fans by the internet for English soccer or English football.
That doesn't surprise me. Now you said for English soccer, because the worst fans are not in England.
No, they're in Philly.
Not what I was going for, but well done, dude. The city
No, they're
of
in
brotherly-
Philly.
The city
of brotherly
love.
love when they pelt Santa with snowballs.
Yeah, when they boo their own team at every opportunity. When
Boo
they
their best quarterback they've ever had.
the
into
best
retirement.
quarterback they've ever had. What was his name?
Donovan McNabb. He was
Donovan
fantastic.
McNabb.
He was a
Yeah.
wonderful player.
He was not a wonderful player. He was a fantastic player. He was the best quarterback the Eagles have ever had. He took them to 4 consecutive NFC championships and took them to a Super Bowl where they only
barely
really
lost
barely
to Tom
lost
Brady.
To Tom Brady in during the a dynasty era of the Patriots.
Which is the best dynasty in
Probably the sports history.
the sports history.
Yeah. Like, I think what was the final score? 27-23, I think it was.
I don't remember, but I knew that McNabb threw three touchdowns and 3 interceptions and threw up before that because he was nervous.
Yeah. But still Philly fans had it good at one point.
They did.
They had it really damn good.
And they had T.O.
And they had T.O. And they had T.O.'s quarterback.
And they had Westbrook as a running back. They had a good team.
Yeah. Brian Westbrook?
Yes.
Oh, Ali Song. Go ahead and keep playing with that ball. But yeah, City of Brotherly
He gets
Love.
me nervous sometimes. I know he's usually good with the ball at his feet, but Alisson gets me nervous when he has the ball at his feet because I just don't like keepers playing the ball like that.
No, everybody gets nervous. This team is called the Heart Attack Reds.
And they give me heart attacks every Sunday and every Tuesday because they play on Tuesday and Wednesday and not Thursday.
What's so special about Thursday?
Europa.
Oh. Oh, I get what you're saying. What the fuck are you talking about? Why?
Like a team that got eliminated by RB Leipzig.
Ah, which team was that?
Manchester United.
Oh.
Of course it was.
Yeah, of course.
Playing
it was
in
United.
Europa now.
Playing in Europa. Yeah.
Hey, listen. Every year one good team goes down, and they do. United does have a good team. I'm not trying to bash them. I'm just.
Right. And
It just makes me happy that they lost.
And like
I'm
I
a
know we're trying to
Liverpool
give a
fan.
better name for Americans than they've been getting, but we're only going to give them the name that they deserve because Schadenfreude be thy name. Like,
Right?
yeah, just like every other football fans the world over, we are happy to engage in Schadenfreude. When Manchester United, the Yankees of the sport, when they miss out on Champions League.
It just makes you happy. It makes you smile.
Especially in the same season when Liverpool win the league.
Yeah, and especially against a team like RB Leipzig. No, like they're a good team that has a good attacking front, and I'm happy that they were able to make it to elimination.
Yeah,
And they also
they're
have
one
an
of the-
American player, so it's okay.
Yeah. Who do they have that's an American? So this is proper. This is a proper American fan of the sport. No idea who the American team, who's on the American team other than Christian Pulisic.
Right? You don't know anything about any of the other players. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean-
I'm looking. I'm going to get a list here so I can get them.
You're gonna get the roster because
Yes.
like I used to be able to name names, and one of the names I would name right away was Tim Howard. But now Tim Howard's not playing. Nor is Landon Donovan.
Okay, so Tyler Adams plays for RB Leipzig.
Tyler Adams, whoever the hell he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an attacking midfielder.
Does he actually play, or
Yes.
does he play for them in the same way that like Landon Donovan used to play in the Bundesliga or whatever it was?
No, he actually plays. And
Okay.
Weston McKennie, a holding midfielder for Juventus. I mean, obviously we all know that Christian Pulisic is with Chelsea. Tim Ream is with Fulham. He's their backup keeper.
Yeah, Pulisic
Zach
just got his
Steffen's with
first goal.
Manchester City as their
Just got
backup
his first
keeper.
goal in league last week, right?
Was that?
Pulisic just got his first goal in league last week.
I think so. Well, this year.
I thought it was his first goal in league.
No,
period.
he played great last year.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he had a hat trick. And DeAndre Yedlin's a backup outside back for Newcastle. He's been there for a little while.
Is
But yeah, no,
Newcastle?
there's some American players that play out. Oh, and Tyler Boyd plays for Besiktas.
Okay.
There's some talent out there. Oh, and the best one is Serginho Dest, who's playing for Barcelona.
He's the best American right now. Better than Christian Pulisic.
No. I mean best team that they
Oh.
play for.
Does he play for them, or does he ride their bench?
He's a backup outside back.
Outside back for Barcelona. I don't even know who their outside backs are. So that could mean some real playing time.
He does get playing time, and he's really good, and he's like 19. So any playing time that they can get is only going to help the team.
Well, it looks like
And a lot of
Fulham has
the, and if
taken
you're
the
noticing,
Jose
a lot of
approach
these
here.
young American players were born, 1997 to 2002.
All right, so we got a foul here on Trent's side. I'd say about 6 to 8 yards from the corner
Yeah,
of the box.
clear foul. Nothing intentional. Nothing painful.
Right.
Nothing.
Right, but let's see.
Outside
who's
the whistle.
I'm assuming it's going to be Trent Solo over the ball. Maybe a Robbo brought over just to like.
If
Give a lip
anyone's going to
service.
take a
Yeah, here
shot,
comes
it's going
Robbo.
to be from the left foot. So that's going to be Robertson.
Yeah, this is not a good spot to be taking a shot though. That's one hell of a shot to take.
And he's playing the back corner. Far corner.
And no Virgil, unfortunately. So not a whole lot of
I know.
height there on this cross.
They should be aiming for Matip. Cross goes in, misses everybody.
And clears through to Wijnaldum.
I don't know, are we even allowed to say like what's going on in the game? Are
I mean,
allowed
we
to?
can't just like. Here's what we can't do. Robbo with the ball on his right, playing on the right-hand side, over
Because
to
of the
Firmino.
switch from
Firmino
set
moving
piece.
forward in the center of the pitch. Firmino over to Henderson. Henderson with a chance moving forward. Robbo clear, ball stopped. So that's what we can't
And
do.
Fulham has it on the break.
And Fulham with the break. Yeah, so that's what we can't do.
Yeah.
But like to make sure that we don't get, close to that, we just got to be aware of that. Because we can talk about the game. We just can't call the game. We can't do play-by-play. Not live
Yeah.
anyways. Interesting, we can do almost whatever we want in post, but while the game is live, there's hardly anything we can do.
That might have been off a Fulham player.
That might have been.
It might have been, but you don't take that chance.
VAR would have gotten it wrong anyway, so no, don't go to VAR. Man, it is.
No, there's no VAR
pouring.
review. There's no review on that.
I know. But I'm the guy who is saying that it probably should have been a corner, rather
didn't
than
go out of
a goal
bounds.
kick. It didn't.
It didn't go out of bounds.
He's made a difference for me. Lamina out
So it wouldn't have mattered.
for Fulham, which was going to be key today. Those second balls and getting out and pressing the midfield of Liverpool.
So we have an injury here.
He's been outstanding in that sense today.
Yeah, there's
Fulham
generally
player
a
went
lot of
down.
injuries on set pieces. And I do like the rule that if you receive treatment on the pitch, you have to come off.
Although he'll probably be on
In now.
Now, yeah. Now, I have seen the occasional, the player is so valuable that we're going to try to treat him on the sideline and not sub him in right away.
Right.
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 I've seen,
Which, by the way, Liverpool let up a goal doing that in Champions League.
was it Salah that was injured?
No. It was I don't even remember who it was. It was one of the defenders, and he was injured and he was off the sideline.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it a few times where, like, an offensive player, especially an attacking player, a game that's tied where you need to win the match, let's say.
Yeah,
they'll
and
go
then
down with
that's
an
when
injury.
Midtjylland got the ball in the
And they'll
box
kind
and
of
got
limp.
that
They'll
weak
kind of limp
penalty.
him off next to the net so that he's off the pitch at least, and then you try to treat him there, and you just play a man down until you can hopefully get him treated. I've seen this happen a lot with blood too, where somebody
Yeah, you have to come off the pitch for blood.
You
Good.
have to come off the
Don't-
pitch for blood,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, sometimes it takes a while to get it all cleaned up. I don't know what the deal is with the tunnel though. You know what I mean? Like, what happens if you go into the tunnel?
I don't know.
Like, under these conditions, Chris, you've got no cover in a place like Fulham, right? So what do you do about somebody who's bleeding profusely and you need to get the blood stopped?
That was a nice
Because
little
it's
movement
pouring
there,
rain.
on the left by Mane.
Yeah, so it's pouring rain. So what do you do when you've got
Because it's
somebody-
England. Because it's England.
Yeah. So it's pouring rain. So what do you do when you've got somebody you want to treat on the sideline who's bleeding profusely, and you need to get it to stop?
Umbrella.
I guess, and then you just like kind of towel it off as best as you can.
Yeah.
So we're approaching the 60-minute mark here.
And they're not looking good. I'm still standing by that. And Minamino's in, by the way.
Minamino came in. Yeah. So what would you like to see differently? Because tactically, they're not
They
going.
need to control the ball over the middle, and I really feel like Fulham having more midfielders and more midfield presence is preventing that ball from being.
Right. So I was talking about a substitution. Because really, Klopp's style is not going to result in a transition in technique, in style of play, unless you introduce a player to change that style of play. So who would you like to see brought on at this point?
I don't know. I mean, a player like Ox would be great, so he could rip one. Because
Yeah,
they're
that's
giving
not a
him
bad
that
idea
pocketed
because-
space from the corner.
Yeah, they're giving the middle. They're giving the middle of. They're giving the.
They're giving just a small pocket of space, and that's all he needs, and he can rip shots. But
Yeah, and from distance.
that's kind of a dice roll. So I
Yeah.
don't really know if I like that.
Yeah, because he is definitely a defensive liability.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Especially coming off of injury, you don't know how he's going to run.
Yeah, how bad do you want to win the game though? That's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, the player I would have loved to have seen come on is Jota, but he's not. He's hurt.
Yeah.
So I
That
don't know
would
what
have
the
been
answer is right now.
that would have been a response to the goal substitution. That would have been a substitution in the 25th minute and saying that we're here to win the match, so we need 2 goals.
Yep. Oh, here's a
Here
shot.
we go. Here's a
Goal.
shot.
Oh, quality save.
Wow, what a save from the nipple.
Right?
Well, when the goalkeeper's been called
What?
upon, he certainly has answered.
You see that? It said possession percentage Z. Like the letter Z. If you're English.
The letter Z.
Sees Henderson let the ball roll across his body, thinks he's gonna
YYZ.
he's gonna try and slide it.
First of all, it's YYZ.
Oh, that'd be if you're Canadian. E.
It's a fabulous save.
No, I think the entire rest of the English-speaking world calls it the letter Z, which is the letter Z, Z.
Right, I know. We're weird.
And they call it, except for Canada, they call it aluminium, which is actually wrong.
Yeah, that's actually wrong.
That
There's
one's
only one
actually
I in
wrong.
aluminum.
Right. Yeah, it's aluminum because the way that you name modern-day metals is by the ore that you get the metal from, if it comes from an ore. So in the case of aluminum, you get it from alumina.
I really don't remember that at all.
So you change the A to a UM, make it an element, becomes aluminum. There are other ores that are end in IA. What was one I thought of? I think it was magnesium. We get it from magnesia.
Sure. Or germanium, I would guess. We get it from Germania.
No, that's not really a metal though. Here, let me go to my periodic table.
I don't
real
know.
quick.
I'm not. That was never. I flunked chemistry.
Really?
Yep.
You flunked chemistry? I actually
Yeah.
got great grades in chemistry despite
I
slipping
did
through
not.
it.
I got good grades in physics. I did not get good grades in chemistry.
Oh my god, this is so frustrating.
I think this is where Fulham really need to keep hold of the ball now. Once they win that ball back, they've got to try and relieve.
Zirconium. Zirconium comes from the ore zirconia. There we go.
Yeah, like the zirconia diamond.
Yeah. Cubic zirconium. And it's called cubic because diamonds aren't naturally in a cube. They're
This
naturally
is good
diamond
movement
shaped.
from Liverpool, but I am not seeing an opening to take the shot. Oh,
Firmino, come
and
on,
then he gets
man.
dispossessed,
Dish.
man. You got to get rid of that. You got 2 men on you, somebody's open. That's a basic rule in all of sports. If you got 2 men on you, somebody's open.
Genie gets beat. Henderson with the
Henderson with a great play off the Fulham winger there to get it out of bounds
Fulham
for a goal
saving
kick.
that play.
Oh, what a play by Henderson.
No
and
defensive
that is
player
a type
anywhere
of
near it.
play that Henderson does all the time and doesn't get any credit for outside of Liverpool fans.
Oh, here's another rule change that they did, and I don't know if this was a COVID response. I don't think it was. So defensive players can now get the ball off of a goal kick inside the 18. I love
I don't
it.
really
love
care.
it.
I have,
Dude,
I
it
have
starts the
no
game-
opinion on it whatsoever.
It starts the game back up so much faster, right?
does.
Like you'd rather see the ball in live play. Like
Yep.
if you're stupid
Mine
about
as
it,
well.
If
And
you
he got fouled. Okay, good.
yeah. If you're stupid about it, so what? If you get scored on because you're stupid, that's on you,
Yep.
right?
Yep. If
So-
you get scored on because you throw the ball into the attacking player and it bounces in the back of the net, Carius, then it's
Yeah.
a goal. As much as we hated it and had a different response when it happened, that was dumb. That was a dumb move.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like it. It starts the game up much faster. You're not doing these giant free kicks from the keeper where it's just a 50-50 header, basically. You can actually get, like, movement of play.
Yep.
I don't know,
And by the
it's
way,
just-
I don't know if other countries have recognized this, but CTE is a real thing.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't even thinking of that, but yeah.
Also, another rule change that I do not like with the VAR which is another reason why I'm kind of leaning towards kind of accepting your belief is if they're offside, throw the fucking flag up.
Yeah.
The whistle is dead.
Oh, yeah.
Blow the whistle.
This is something that Bundesliga
Because
was
not
doing.
only are you risking players' health, but you could create something that could spiral out of control.
So we watched a few Bundesliga games when it comes to VAR before we just made up our minds about VAR. Before it came to England, by the way, before it came to England. So I had my mind made up years ago, again, before it even came to England. One of the things we noticed was, and the EPL doesn't really do this, but in the Bundesliga, the flag was being held, which means that unless the offsides was painfully obvious and ultra egregious, they just weren't calling it. Even when they thought the right call was to raise the flag. Even when they were like, yeah, I'm pretty confident he's offsides, but it's not like painfully obvious. What you would wind up getting is VAR decisions that were just non-stop And it's like, if you just raise your flag and make the call, then we don't have to go to VAR.
Right. Make the call on the field as it stands, as you
Get
see
it right.
it.
Get
Get
it
it right
right.
the first time. You
Yep.
don't have to go to VAR.
Yep. And if you get it wrong, you're human beings. We forgive you.
Yes. But don't make this about you. We shouldn't know. It's bad to know the referees' names.
Yeah.
It's not something that you should know. You should not be familiar with them as a fan of the sport.
Fulham going through the Olays in the attacking front. No, that was a good play on. That was a good play on.
That was fair.
Yeah.
But like, when you have a play like when Virgil was offside and got his fucking ACL torn by Pickford, they should have put up the flag right away. He was offside. Yes, he was. And if they throw the flag up right away, he doesn't fucking tear his ACL.
Now, that said, yes, we're biased, but we've seen this replay 100 times.
But it doesn't matter. If it was another team, I would feel exactly the same way.
Right.
These players
So-
mean more.
So, Chris, you agree with me on this one. That was a red card.
That was a red card, and that should have been reviewed, and he should have been ejected from that game.
Yep. I don't think it should have been a penalty because there's no
Nope.
penalty to be awarded
Nope.
on the play.
Nope.
The play was
you
over.
restart with the offside.
With the offside.
With
Tottenham gets the
offside,
ball.
with the indirect free kick.
Yep. Spurs get the ball. Yep. You guys can
No,
have the
Everton.
ball. You guys can. Oh, sorry. Everton gets the ball. You guys can take the kick. You're playing a man down the rest of the game, and your backup keeper's going in.
Yep.
Because
and allow them the substitution if they need it.
so the decision on the field and the time was that because he was offside, there was no foul to give, and that's just ridiculous. That's utterly ridiculous, and that's antithetical to the actual prescription of the written rules of the game.
Yeah,
Like-
that should be a dead ball red card.
Yeah, I mean, if
If
you're
the ball goes out of play and you punch somebody in the face.
yeah, and they break their nose,
Oh, the ball was out of play.
so there's no foul to call. Yeah, no, Pickford blew him up and made, I won't say no attempt at the ball. It was a save. It was a an at all costs saving of a goal. That's me. That's the way I look at it. It was
Absolutely.
It was a red card offense where you get up and you say, okay, it was a red card offense.
It was
And
a
you don't get
Luis
mad at
Suarez.
Pickford. This is different from Chris. This is different from our reaction with what's his face and Salah.
Ramos.
This is different from our take on Sergio Ramos.
Because Ramos did it intentionally, Pickford did not.
Right. Ramos did it for the purposes of injuring Mohamed Salah. That was the
Because he's a
reason he
piece of
hit
shit.
that foul. The foul on Virgil van Dijk was just a foul. I mean, it's a red card offense, but it's not like we hold it against Pickford. I mean,
No.
It was a
just
strategic-
like when
It was a
Jung
strategic
Song
foul,
got his
basically.
red card last year.
yeah.
I did not hold that against Son. He did not intentionally mean to do that, but he did deserve the card.
Yeah. Man, we still aren't even seeing really much in the way of substitutions here coming from Klopp either. I'm kind of
No,
disappointed.
we saw Minamino come on, and that's it.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, I don't know. Is that the type of substitution you're looking for? Because, like, I would be okay with the Ox at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're playing like a 4-5-1 the way they're set up, Fulham, and they're straight up parking a bus, which is exactly what you do when you're a smaller club and have the lead against a bigger club. That's exactly what you do. You make them play offense. You make them beat you.
Yeah, and a team that's famous for their transition but is not famous for their set plays. Jeez.
I think they went off the Fulham defender there.
Yeah, but it was very poor communication going on there.
Yeah, it was.
This to
Well,
me is
Nico Williams just came on for Trent, and that means to me that he's got an injury because there's no reason that you would ever substitute Trent unless he got hurt.
yeah, it may just be like a stub toe or something. Did that go off Firmino?
No, he jumped over it.
Okay. Robbo with the left on the corner, short corner.
Back to Robbo.
On a throw-in. Oh, man.
And they're just not looking good. Liverpool looks like crap, and I don't know what's going on with them.
Sluggish?
They just look bad. And this is not the first time this year that they've just looked. The whole team just looks bad.
I don't know. They look non-committal to me.
They look like they don't like. There's
don't
just no
want it.
energy to them. They don't
Yeah,
want
they
it.
don't want
They
it,
don't care. I'm not seeing that extra movement. I'm not seeing those cuts. I'm not seeing those the runs down the wing. I'm just they're static.
It is nice getting fans back in the stadium, even if there are only like 100 of them now.
2,000. I think there's some in certain cases it's up to 2,000.
Probably not Fulham because that stadium is tiny.
Well, that could I mean, they could have 2,000, which would be like half the stadium. That's a joke. I don't know how big Craven Cottage is.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I imagine it's not Wembley.
Oh God, no. Or even the new Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah, the Spurs' new stadium, which might as well be Wembley. They moved out of Wembley to move into Wembley.
Right? A newer Wembley.
A newer Wembley, yeah.
Yeah, and Caballero has looked really good for Fulham, and Liverpool haven't been able to really beat them on the break.
Yeah, I'm really
They're
curious
through balls, they're getting the balls past them.
I mean,
they're not even playing over the top that much.
We're at 71.5, and I really wonder what Klopp winds up doing with the lineup here.
And it's still down 1-0. Like, they look bad.
Yeah, I mean, does Klopp just take the L at this point? Like,
you can't take the L, man. You win and you take the lead. You're atop the league.
Well, you mean you're tied to Spurs, right?
No, his Spurs drew.
Yeah. So even though
if they win, they're atop the league. They need to score 2.
Well, they need to score 1 then at least to stay, in pace with Spurs.
Right? Against a bad team too. Like, Fulham aren't good. They have 6 points.
Yeah, and I mean that's the key to winning the league, though, right? Like in any season, beat the bad teams, get wins against bad teams.
And the thing is, that's not just in footy here. That's in every sport.
That's true of a lot of sports.
You're gonna make their sports playoffs or win their championship. You have to beat the bad teams.
Yeah, I don't know if that's so true in baseball, just because there's so many games, but
no, you have to overall beat them. Like, if you're the Mets and you want to win the NL East, you have to beat up on the Phillies and you have to beat up on the Marlins.
Yeah, you have to have a winning record against those teams. I get what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
not like the Mets have been, where they've been having losing records to the freaking Marlins over the past few years.
I mean, here's the thing though. Like, if you have 20 games left in the season, which means the season's pretty close to over in baseball terms.
If it's a whole full 162.
Yes, if it's the full 162. And you've got a lot of games against division, right? And there are some sucky teams in the division.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case to just beat up on the sucky teams and cross your fingers against the rest of the league. Like, I think that's the division. I mean, that to me says you got to win the games against the teams you're competing against.
No, you have to win some. In that case, if you're doing that, you have to at least break even.
I don't know. I think it would be more important to focus on the Nationals than it would be to focus on the Phillies. You know what I'm saying? Like 4-2 against the Phillies.
If you're in a playoff run, yes. But like I'm saying, overall, your record overall for the whole season, you have to beat up on the bad teams.
Yeah, but down the stretch, let's say it's 4-2 against the Phillies, against the Nationals is way more important. Is way better than 5-1 against the Phillies, or even 6-0 in some cases against the Phillies. Yeah, especially if the Nationals are playing somebody else awful. Colorado in Colorado.
Yeah, well, Colorado isn't awful, but they're not great.
No, I mean, and it changes from year to year. I'm just going by a franchise that has not been good as of late.
True. Yeah, they don't have Todd Helton to save them again.
Yeah, and in a stadium where, you and I can probably hit home runs on fungos.
Even though it's the biggest field in all of baseball.
Yeah, and they have huge walls.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, and they have heavier balls.
No, they don't. In Colorado, no, they don't.
They fuck with the balls.
So everybody keeps saying the
and
ball's
only
been
in Colorado, Mike. They do it on purpose. They have like the high drop, whatever. They have like a holding place for them that they.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
I don't remember what it's called.
No, and that's not. That's actually. Ooh. I think
that could be a bad call on Lookman.
Yeah. Yellow. All right. Well,
they gave him a yellow, which if they reviewed that and called it a red, I would be okay with that. And if they reviewed it and said it's a yellow, I'd also be okay with that. But I'm happy.
I would prefer they not review it. And
they didn't review it, which I'm happy with.
This is actually a great stop from the keeper here.
Yes, it is.
Like, just take the ball completely out of play. Man of the match so far for them?
Caballero,
okay. I mean, I can't.
Unless something magical happens in the last 15 minutes here, which I don't see happening because they don't look good.
Well, I mean, it would have to come from a substitute. It would have to come from somebody else who's just got a different perspective on things. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I really want to see what Klopp does with this, because
he has to make a substitution like now if they don't score. Like the next dead ball, if there's not another goal, make a substitution.
Divock Origi's going to come on. All right.
Ugh, I don't like that.
I don't mind it. He's been great.
He is in awful form.
Yeah. I mean, he's...
Oh, good service from Robbo and cleared out by the...
But he's kind of a folk
Fulham
hero
defender.
in a certain sense. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, he had those late winners against Everton and Barcelona.
he's actually had a few late winners.
Oh, I'm just saying like the big ones were Everton and Barcelona.
Yeah. So I get it. Again, I would prefer somebody like Ox who can play in the middle of the pitch and rip shots.
Yeah, but who are you taking off for him? Oh,
Anyone.
That should be a free kick.
Anyone. I don't care at this point.
I would love to have Alexander-Arnold over this, but he's not on the pitch.
Put Ox on it. You've got a
He's not on.
substitution.
Oh, true.
And you can make a
Or
substitution
Jones.
during... You can make a substitution during a free kick. Anyone can
Yes.
take the kick. You know?
I would be willing to give it to Jones if you wanted it, though.
I mean, this would be a great spot for Jota, to be honest. See, to test his muster, to test his moxie wow, they gave
Because
this a really.
this is a spot for a right footer.
It is. It is not a very favorable spot. I thought the spot was very close to the 18. And apparently, it's like a solid 4 yards out.
Yeah, that's an awkward spot.
I would be okay with Salah taking the left. Why is
Nope, it
Robbo
looks
on
like
the left
Genie.
here? Is ripping. Uh-oh. Penalty's been given. All right,
Oh,
well,
handball!
all right. Well,
Okay,
everyone was calling for
okay,
it. Referee calls on the pitch.
He has the best angle.
Yep.
He made the call on the pitch.
I didn't
Unless
see
there's
it.
definitive angle to say otherwise. Do not overturn this.
Yeah, let's have a look.
If you're going to defend in the wall,
Oh, I don't know if I
Oh.
like that. I don't know if I like that.
So his look where his hand is now. Now look where his hand is.
within the body.
Oh, from 47.
Yeah.
It's camera.
Yeah,
he's moved
Kamara's
his hands.
camera,
He's moved
whatever,
his
how you
hands.
pronounce that. His
Yeah.
arm is like here, and they've made a rule, like against Eric Dyer. If your arm is at or above your shoulder, it's a penalty. Even if
Yeah.
you're like this, I know it's a dumb rule, but
It's
they
a
have
dumb
to be
rule.
consistent with it.
Yeah, and I hate that they're.
It's a
consistent
dumb
with
rule.
it.
I don't.
So
Oh,
to
in the
me,
grand scheme of things,
to
yeah,
me,
penalty.
to me, I can give you a penalty and a different interpretation. He moved his hand from that holding position. He moved it to an unnatural position to me. To me, that is as close as you're going to get to
This
it.
is an unnatural position.
All right. Let's bury this Salah. No
You have
fancy,
to make this,
No fanciness, just bury it.
and he buried
Oh
it.
God, that scared the shit out of me.
I know he guessed the right direction too. He just got under
He
him.
almost got nipple almost
He-
made the
oh.
save. Oh,
The one
thank
thing I will say
God.
about Salah, he always puts 100% into it. He always. Oh man, the keeper got it.
He
He
was
got a
there,
deflection off of
dude.
it. He got his
He
hand
was
down.
there. He
was
was
there.
there. Oh my God.
Oh, that was tight. If he didn't hit that with that much power, that would have
Well,
been a
he
save.
also gave it a ton of English. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So,
Tight.
so
Tight, but
Liverpool.
they need another goal.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if
Fulham will
I
probably be playing for the point.
I'm okay
They're
with
in relegation zone. They need points.
here's where I'm okay with Origi, because if you put on Ox, the only place you can put him is in the midfield. Let's be honest. And at that point, he's a weakness on defense. He's a weak spot on defense. And if you put in Origi, you could put in Origi for Mane, or for Firmino, or for Salah, right? He's perfectly fine in those positions, and I'm perfectly fine with him in that position.
I would probably put him on for Firmino to change the style of the whole front three.
Yeah, to a much more striking and
Over the top.
forward-minded.
Yeah. Because of the style change. If you put
Much
him on
more
for Mane or
aggressive.
Salah,
Yeah.
he doesn't have that. You don't have that style change.
Right, so Firmino's the better all around because he's got better control than Origi, and the style of play then would be basically using
And he makes
Firmino.
better movement. Freaking
Yeah.
a brick wall right now is making better movement off the ball than Origi is. That's how bad his form has been.
Keep straight on and take the ball in the chest.
He looked awful in Champions.
I haven't watched him all that much.
Oh, okay. So to go along with more broadcasting bull crap, the Champions League here is only broadcast by CBS, and they limit it to the CBS app, and you can only get it if you pay the $6.99 a month for it. I watched 2 games because I got the 7-day free trial from multiple different emails and deleted the app.
Deleted, yeah. Oh man.
So I watched 2 games.
Man.
No, actually 3. I watched 3 games because one you get it for 7 days, which means that because I lined it up to have a Wednesday, Tuesday, and then I canceled after that. That's how you have to play this game.
Yeah, I know, unfortunately. So it used to be that everyone just had cable, and you paid through the nose for cable. Now it's starting to get to be a point where you're buying each channel that you want. But
yeah, for $5-6, but it's every single.
But it's like $8 a channel, and if you want,
Right.
say, 7 channels, all of a sudden you're better off just buying cable.
Cable again, yeah.
Right, and like the problem is that the problem.
By the way, I called this like 3 years ago.
The problem with that model though, Chris, is the exclusivity deals. So there were no
I know.
there were no exclusivity deals when it came to cable, right? Like you didn't have one cable provider who was the exclusive cable provider of the game.
Right.
Right now you have one.
Well, unless it's regional broadcast. So, like for instance, if there are multiple games like in the NFL that are on at 1 o'clock on Sunday, which by the way should be pretty soon here, then those are done by cable company and by your zip code.
Yeah, but at the same time, first things first. With a VPN, you can fix your zip code.
Now you can, but
Yeah.
I'm saying back before the internet was a thing.
But here's the
cable
point.
company.
Like I love on-demand channel services. I love the a la carte method of channel services. But this is something that cable should have provided 2.5 decades ago.
Years ago.
Yeah, and
When Netflix started streaming, this is what they should have been providing.
Yep.
And Netflix was the first company like that to really start getting into the streaming game.
yeah. So here's the thing though, because you have to buy the app, the NBC Sports app, let's say, or the Peacock app.
Yeah.
Now that's the only way through the internet to get that.
Right.
There's no
'Cause
other
can't-
cable.
Yeah.
Right, like at least in New York City, you could have multiple cable providers. Mm-hmm. Right, there are legitimate.
Ooh.
This is a great fast
So
break
on the
now.
break. Got on his right. He took a shot with his right and good save.
shot. Finally took it with his right. I'm okay with that. Great breakaway from. Is that Jones?
Yeah, Jones fed Salah. No, that's just Jones.
That's
It's
just
by
Jones.
himself.
Salah moved to the right. Yeah, out of his
Yeah,
way.
that's Jones by
Got it
himself.
to his
I like
right
that.
foot. Got a clear angle. Took the shot. Good save from the keeper. Not a great save, but good save.
I'm watching on my phone, so sometimes the little people are hard to see, and
little
they both
people.
have similar hair.
Yeah. All right, who's coming on? We got Divock Origi coming on. Salah coming off. I'm okay with that. You get a little height. You win some 50-50 balls.
So it looks like they're going to try to play more over the top.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. Right? Like, if you're going to get that goal, if you're going to go after that second goal, that's probably the way to do it at this point without having to sacrifice on defense. Like, 2-0 is still a loss, so sacrificing on defense at 1-0, yeah, I'm okay with that. But now that it's 1-1, 2-1, one way or the other is a huge difference.
Yeah, it is. That's
So,
that's 3 points in either direction.
yeah.
And
So
Fulham, credit to Fulham, they have played out of their mind today. Like
Yeah,
they've
they
been
played
great.
way above their talent level.
Yeah,
The
Credit,
sum of the
very
parts
much credit to Fulham.
Yeah.
And whoever their manager is, because I'm not that well versed on that stuff.
Harry Chip chiming in. I had no idea we actually had anybody watching. Harry, thanks for watching.
Look at that.
I'm curious to know, Harry, if you're still watching where you're coming from. Me and Chris are in Connecticut here in the
United
States.
States.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get the ball in, Minamino. So Minamino came on. Origi came on. So Liverpool still should have one substitution. I'd love to get some graphics for more.
Nico Williams came on for Trent.
Yeah. It'd be kind of cool if we had more graphics, you know? Because right now all I've got.
No, you should look into that because I'm terrible with technology. I have
Yes.
no round boxes and no round trucks.
I've
That's
got
my job.
second half. I've got the score. I've got each team symbol. That's it. So yeah, maybe that's something that we could look into is getting more graphics.
Everyone likes graphics.
Yeah, right. Basically.
In fact, if you play video games, graphics are more important than plot and
Gameplay.
Gameplay,
yeah,
Yeah.
as we know from The Witcher, apparently.
as we know from experience,
Yeah. Yeah,
from
unfortunately, the
like
Sega
every
approach.
video game ever.
The Sega approach. It's not every game ever, dude. Like,
You know what I mean? They're willing to sacrifice some level of any of that to get in better graphics.
Ocarina didn't. Ocarina's graphics in hindsight, in retrospect, are not good even for the 64.
Yeah, but
the
that's,
gameplay was
you're
incredible.
You're talking about an exception. I'm saying game in the whole grand scheme of things. This is a great position for Jones. They need to get a
Fulham's got
opening
all
on
11
goal here. Fulham's got
Fulham's
everybody
all 11
back, and they're playing very tight defense right now.
Yeah, and impressive.
It looks like the 5-4-1,
they're actually keeping up.
6-3-1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6-3-1. Wow.
They're playing way back.
Taking a page out of Jose's book.
Yeah, or Atletico's book.
All right, so we got Williams in the corner.
Williams did a good job there of not falling over.
Getting back to his feet when he fell over.
Yeah.
That's not a dive. That's a slip on wet terrain. A little bit of contact.
Yep. A little bit of contact, and he goes right back for the ball.
Yeah,
I like
probably
that.
not worthy of a penalty.
You cannot win the game on your back.
Yep. Probably not worthy of a penalty. Love that he just gets up and keeps playing. I really wish the diving would be somehow weeded out of the sport.
They need to call it. They need to call when it's a dive.
They're not going to call it. They're just not going to call it.
Until they start getting yellows for diving, nobody's going to stop doing it. And as much as I hate to say it, I've seen Salah go down really fucking easily too.
Yep.
And the thing is, I'm going to tell him as a manager to keep doing it because they're not carding anybody.
Yeah, and it's a shame. I think Liverpool would be one of these teams that would benefit too from a less divey style of play. Like as a fan of Liverpool, I am frustrated when Salah goes down. I get frustrated.
Me too. But also as a fan of Liverpool, I want to see him do it because they're not calling it.
I don't. Because they're not calling the fouls on Salah either. Like,
true, because he's not white and he's not British.
Well, yeah, you think there's a
They call everything on Sterling. Sterling has the most penalties awarded in the history of the league.
Really?
Yes. As of last week.
Awarded. So every time he goes down, he gets the call.
Yeah, every time Sterling goes down, he gets the call because he's British. If he wasn't British, the British referees wouldn't give a fuck about him. Excuse me.
Interesting.
If you look at the statistics between the calls against other players like Jack Grealish or Raheem Sterling that are British, they get calls more than foreign players.
Isn't Grealish Welsh?
Period. No, Grealish is English. British.
Oh, okay. Tells you what we know, right?
He's a starting midfielder for the England national team. And now Fulham are going to try to waste time.
Of course they are.
And again, if you don't card players for wasting time, which they do, then players won't stop wasting time. So
Fulham,
why don't you want to stop them from diving?
If the score remains, Fulham will have 12 games played and will be out of relegation by 2 points. Burnley have only played 10 games.
I know.
6 points. So this is...
Yes, but they also have to play Man City and another good team in there. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, before the break.
No, I mean the games that they lost. I don't know when it's gonna. Yeah, it's gonna have to be before the break, before the
midway point.
The switch over to the
the second
before
half.
The second half starts.
Yeah. But
yeah, Burnley doesn't look good either. They're not.
Yeah, so I think the idea here with Fulham is just take the point because there's no way you're going to get a second goal.
Right.
And I don't know if I agree with that thinking the way they've been playing. You know, I would be okay with them going as their manager. I would want them going after this because like they're probably going to be.
This is when I used to love to see Daniel Sturridge come on. Set pieces like this, send it to the back post, put Sturridge on the back post on that run.
That breakaway by Jones, that's where I wish we still had the SAS. Because if that was a breakaway from Suarez.
Oh no, this isn't good. Minamino's back trying to get the ball. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Liverpool won that was a great stop.
Oh my God.
Did you see that stop with the ball there?
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, but then he held it.
A little too long.
A little longer than I would have preferred. A little longer than my coronaries would prefer.
Right? Now this is Liverpool have been better in the second half, but they still do not look good.
Ooh. 4 minutes added.
And we're starting the 90 seconds
90
really
40,
soon.
90 41.
Yeah,
to give you an idea of where we are, folks. I mean, where are you? Out of curiosity.
I'm a half a second ahead of you.
Half a second ahead of me. All right, close enough.
Yep. With these streams, you never know what kind of timing you're gonna get.
Yeah. Yep. Like I might lag behind you by a frame every once in a while, and then because of that frame, every once in a while it builds up.
Even though
over
it says
time.
live, and you can't pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, you just deal with that. That's just the limitations of technology. Like it's not something that they're doing on purpose. It's just, you know.
That must have made a double bounce off of Nico.
Yeah, him. You need a. Does your phone have a way of like outputting to a monitor since you're watching on your phone?
Yeah, I do, just not that monitor.
You know what? No, bullshit. What we need to do is actually get back together and be doing this in person, so we don't have to worry about things timing out properly.
Oh, I know.
It'll happen.
It'll happen. And I do have a giant 55-inch flat screen.
And we have a set to do this in upstairs at my place.
Yep.
It just needs to be finished, and we need to figure out how. I think what we would have to do is set up the Xbox up there and use the Xbox to stream on Hulu. So you'd have to help me with that because...
Yeah, because PlayStation, you can't stream live things like that.
Right, but with the Xbox, getting it
You
set
can
up...
because PlayStation wants you to force you to get PlayStation View because they're jerks.
So you'd have to put in your account information and shit because I couldn't even get the thing to like turn on.
Yeah.
Right? Because I didn't have an Xbox account. Setting up an account with Microsoft and Xbox became such a nightmare. It took me hours to get the thing turned on. Which, by the way, is an indicator that your technology, whoever's the software writer for the software behind that, you fucked up.
Awful.
You fucked up. Like I should be able to get to the main menu.
To be fired.
I should be able to get to the main menu and use it as nothing more than either a DVD player or a streaming device without any information from my end. I mean that's how the Xbox 360 is. And you could use Internet Explorer on 360 as much as Internet Explorer's
you
crap.
wouldn't want to because it's Internet Explorer and Internet Explorer is terrible.
And
but
I
you
use
could.
terrible. But you could.
They're trying to play the over-the-top game, and that's the one
Way
style
offside.
that Liverpool
Go for
just
that ball.
cannot play.
All right, so it is 93, 25, 26, 27 with a +4 with 4 minutes added. Liverpool kind of getting desperate with their...
This is going to end 1-1.
Yeah.
And Liverpool got lucky to get a handball on a set piece.
Yep, they did.
And they were not the better team.
It was a
today.
handball. It was a handball.
It was a handball. They got it. It was right. The call was right. The play was right.
Here we go.
I'm just saying that they got lucky that the Fulham defender put his arm up.
Yeah, and so Jordan Henderson just sent in a long ball over the top that sailed over everyone's head and went out of bounds for a goal kick. This will almost certainly be the last kick of the game.
Yep.
This goal kick.
Yep, unless there was a late substitution and the referee has been
unless there was a stopping of the watch for a late substitution.
Yeah, which by the way, it's been 20 seconds. He should be getting a yellow card for this.
The fourth official.
It's been 20 seconds that he's had the ball.
Yeah, the fourth official's already looking at his watch, so this game should be just about over. And I don't know if I'm willing to give a yellow card as the game
I
ends.
absolutely am. It's been 30 seconds since he's had the ball. Like, put the ball in play.
This may be a strategic yellow card then, Chris. Where you just sit there and take the yellow card. And that's game.
That's game. 1-1.
That is game.
That was terrible. And guess what? Guess who they played next?
Who do they play next?
Leading Tottenham Hotspurs in Anfield. But that was bad. I don't know what's going on with the record on the road, but they've been awful on the road. Awful. They've dropped way too many points to teams that shouldn't be getting any points from them.
They haven't really been the team that they were prior to the break.
Yeah,
right. Like something happened over the break, and it wasn't even over the break. It was like 6 games before the break. Something changed, right? Like something definitely changed. I'd say the team in January of this year was a very different team from the team of this year. Now that said, the team has been decimated by injuries, but. It's
I'm sorry. You
should
be beating Fulham. You should be beating Brighton. You should be beating Aston Villa. These are unacceptable dropped points.
Yeah,
you can accept a point in Goodison. You can accept a point in the Etihad. But the
All right.
other, that's it.
So the official table at the top of the table now is Spurs, then Liverpool,
Still.
then Southampton out of nowhere, and Chelsea.
They've been playing great.
All teams have 12. All teams have 12 games played. 25 each for Spurs and Liverpool. 23 for Southampton. 22 for Chelsea. Chelsea coming off of a loss.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm seeing this as like, if Man United and Man City and Leicester, if they get wins and have even matches played, the top like 8 are within 3 points.
All right, I'm going to try to sign off here, Chris. So that's the table so far in the top 4: Spurs, Liverpool, Southampton, Chelsea. After today's draw, we don't know when we're going to be back. I'm not sure when the next game is. We will have a chat off camera about that, Christopher. Now on, we are going to probably be. I'm going to be getting something to eat. I'm imagining Christopher is going to be watching some football.
Yep,
so
I'll be watching the New York Football Giants.
Yep, and hopefully they'll do well. We'll be in touch about that. We will let you guys know when our next stream is going to be. We may not even actually be watching the game live. We may decide to just do a live stream to talk about the sport and just to talk about things in general. We will keep you in touch. So for everyone who will wind up watching, thanks for staying with us, and we